That night, Wei Wuxian lay on the small table, writing eagerly. In tiny, meticulous characters, he wrote tens of thousands of words outlining Lan Wangji's life story. Around him were text materials and character illustrations spread in a circle. A little biography of Lan Wangji was about to be completed, ready to be placed on every stall in Yunmeng Street. Only then did the swelling anger in his chest finally ease. There was a knock at the door. Wei Wuxian didn't even raise his head. The person outside said, "Wei Ying, it's me." Wei Wuxian almost let a pen fly out the window. With flustered hands, he pressed down the scattered papers. Standing on tiptoes, he went to the door, pulled open a very narrow crack, and his eyes brightened as he looked out. Lan Wangji looked at him with an unexpectedly gentle expression. "Can you come out? I have something to say to you." Wei Wuxian, full of suspicion and a bit hesitant, pursed his lips slightly. Seeing Lan Wangji's sincere invitation, he sighed and slipped out from the crack, leaning against the doorframe with his arms folded. Lan Wangji's fine lashes cast soft shadows in the moonlight. His half-lowered eyes lifted slightly, as if summoning courage. "Wei Ying, I'm sorry." The aloof, dignified Lan Wangji, who never got along well with him since coming to Lotus Pier, was actually humbling himself to apologize. Wei Wuxian was caught off guard. His heart skipped 2 beats and he was momentarily lost for words. Of course, he couldn't find the words to say. Under Lan Wangji's clear brows, a gentle light shone from his eyes and his thin lips curved slightly, melting the usual icy coldness that kept people at a distance. Wei Wuxian's eyes widened. Could he understand this as Lan Wangji smiling at him? At that moment, a breeze carrying an unknown floral fragrance blew in, lifting the black strands on Lan Wangji's shoulder. The black hair was soft, and Lan Wangji's gaze became even softer. He gently parted his lips and said, "Wei Ying, actually, I don't dislike you. You are good-looking, clever, and have good swordsmanship skill." Wei Wuxian froze in place. Lan Wangji stared at him without blinking, his glass-like eyes seeming to hold the softest moonlight in the world. "Wei Ying, you are very good. I want to get along well with you. Is that okay?" Wei Wuxian blinked, shook his head in disbelief, then suddenly woke up and nodded rapidly like clapping hands. His lips trembled. Of course, Lan Zhan. You actually praised me. Before he finished speaking, his expression suddenly changed, and he clapped both hands over his mouth. Oh no, he was caught. Lan Wangji's face changed as well. The softness from a moment ago vanished instantly. He turned cold in a flash, looked down at him with a "I knew it" expression, snorted coldly, and strode away with a sweep of his sleeve. Wei Wuxian's mind buzzed. Lan Zhan, how did he know he was pretending? Lan Wangji didn't look back and strode ahead swiftly. Wei Wuxian shouted and hurried to catch up, grabbing him. "So, you already guessed? You were trying to get me to talk just now?" Lan Wangji coldly flicked his sleeve to shake off Wei Wuxian's hand. Obstinate. Wei Wuxian, feeling hurt, aggrieved, and shocked, held back for a long moment before muttering, You sweet-talked me." Both had long legs. Wei Wuxian and Lan Wangji chased and tripped each other, circling round. Wei Wuxian complained wronged. "Lan Zhan, you've changed. Are you still that little old-fashioned? Have you been possessed? Usually quiet and alone, but when you trap someone, you're this devious. Whose bad habits did you learn? Don't ignore me. Lan Zhan, I ask you, everything you just said was a lie? Not a word was sincere?" Lan Wangji, "No." Wei Wuxian, "Really? Not even one?" Wei Wuxian, "Really not even a little bit, just a tiny bit, even a crumb, none at all?" Lan Wangji said firmly, "No." Wei Wuxian lay in bed thinking all night, but couldn't figure out how his pretending not to have resolved the silencing spell to prank Lan Wangji was discovered. Holding his blanket, pondering in the middle of the night, he could only conclude that Lan Wangji was understanding him more and more, seeing through his sly antics. He didn't know if Lan Zhan would report him to Old Man Lan. No need to guess much. The answer was clear the next morning. Lan Qiren gathered a pile of small notes and led Lan Wangji, Lan Shuyu, and Lan Moyun in. No matter the joyful atmosphere in the sword-testing hall where people were introducing girls to Wei Wuxian, they strode straight in. Small notes scattered like rain. Lan Qiren accused Wei Wuxian to Zhang Fengmian of his cunning and sinister actions in slandering Lan Wangji. Immediately after, Wei Wuxian's room was searched, where various materials of Lan Wangji's biography were found, along with some suspicious booklets. Among the piles of scattered papers and booklets, Lan Qiren dug through and held one up, lamenting bitterly. Several booklets were finely bound with hard covers. Inside, bright, glossy pages shone vividly. The contents were quite provocative. Wei Wuxian slapped his forehead. They were erotic paintings that Ni Huaisang had entrusted him to keep. Ni Huaisang was very loyal. As soon as he arrived at Lotus Pier, he pulled him into a deserted corner and stuffed 7 or 8 treasured scrolls, saying that his eldest brother had recently been inspecting him for having too many affairs and frequently searched his room, fearing these treasures would be confiscated. So he entrusted the most beloved rare editions to Wei Wuxian for safekeeping. Ni Huaisang looked very sorrowful, holding Wei Wuxian's hand as if entrusting a final wish, asking him to treat them well. These rare editions from the folk were incomparable to the cheap stall goods in the market. They required special connections to obtain, depicted vivid characters, and were exquisitely beautiful. Whether from an artistic appreciation standpoint or a practical one, these were top-notch works. Lan Qiren's eyes widened as he pointed at the unsightly pile of books, stammering repeatedly, "Corrupting customs and decency." Lan Wangji slightly turned his head and averted his gaze. Wei Wuxian was sweating profusely. Jiang Cheng glanced at him a few times, expressing disdain with his eyes. Wei Wuxian gave him a sharp glance and mouthed, "As if you've never watched them." Yu Ziyuan got angry and stood up from her seat, dragging Jiang Yanli away to prevent her from being tainted by these things. The girl opposite blushed deeply. Her parents looked embarrassed and silently left. Lan Shuya bowed slightly to Lan Qiren after the girls had left, saying, "Mr. Lan, then Yun and I." Expectedly, Lan Qiren flicked his sleeve. "Where are you going?" "Stay here. This time I want you two to clearly see the true face of Wei Ying, to open your eyes wide and watch. This is my answer to Liv Qijun and Madam, your parents." The little ones gathered behind Wei Wuxian looked full of regret. "I haven't even watched those volumes yet. Are they going to be confiscated?" Wei Wuxian quietly beckoned one over with his finger and whispered, "Go quickly and call Ni Huaisang. I can't keep his treasures safe anymore." Lan Qiren stood in the hall and solemnly said to Zhang Fengmian, "Sect leader Jiang, your disciple Wei Wuxian first slanders my Lan clan's Lan Wangji and privately possesses such filthy items. If you still allow this to continue without punishment, I seriously doubt the upbringing of your disciples." Wei Wuxian shifted his stiff knees and frowned. "Actually, the things I wrote about Lan Zhan aren't fabricated. He really often silenced me and others from speaking. Okay, some parts were indeed refined by me, but to say they are fabrications is really unjust. Uncle Jiang, please investigate. If you don't believe me, you can have Lan Zhan come and confront me." Nearby, Lan Wangji stood straight and tall, disdainfully ignoring him without any fear. Lan Qiren stamped his foot several times and pointed at his nose. "Excuses? Just excuses. Fine, I won't argue with you. What about that children's rhyme? Don't tell me you didn't write it. How is Wangji any less than you? You actually called him—" Wei Wuxian snorted dryly and became spirited suddenly. "Called him rigid, dull, utterly pedantic, with nothing but rules in his mind, living without any warmth, unable to show care or tenderness, let alone any charm or romance. What part of that is wrong? Spending an hour with him is enough to make you bored stiff. Living a lifetime with him, how could anyone be so hopeless? Might as well just bury yourself in the ground. So I think for the girl's sake, don't marry Lan Wangji. Is that wrong? This is literally a great deed." Lan Qiren's finger trembled, his old face both sour and numb with anger, twitching slightly, speechless. Lan Wangji lowered his gaze and stared dumbfoundedly at Wei Wuxian, seemingly a little stunned by the words. Seeing Lan Wangji's dazed look, Wei Wuxian suddenly realized he had said too much, was a bit over the top, bluntly stating his true thoughts in front of everyone, and regretted it somewhat. So he tried to make amends. "Lan Zhan, I'm not targeting you. You really are a bit boring, always wearing a solemn face, looking quite scary. How about this? You smile more and I'll say some nice things about you in front of the girls." His tone started apologetically but ended teasingly. Lan Wangji flicked his sleeve and said coldly, "No need." Zhang Fengmian glanced sideways, his expression subtle, almost smiling with soft reproach, as if saying, "Ah, Ying, don't bully Mr. Lan and second young Master Lan." Lan Qiren looked serious and sought his help. Zhang Fengmian clenched his jaw, his expression sharp, saying, "Ah, Ying, stop talking nonsense. Take Mr. Lan's reprimands and listen. Don't just disrespect your elders." Wei Wuxian said, "Yes, Uncle Jiang, I'm listening, Mr. Lan. Please continue."